And welcome back to another very special edition of the 480 Experience. I'm Strider here with Kai and
Howdy.
Trevor. We're breaking down Kansas State, Arizona State. Massive matchup, big Big 12 implications, and Arizona State was able to pull out a win and get a ranking for the first time this season. So, Trev, what'd you see from this one?
Yeah, so just being on the doorstep of the top 25 almost all year, I really thought we were at the closest point against Cincinnati. If we had beaten the Bearcats, we probably would have snuck in that top 25. But
Definitely.
Thank you, Jeff Sims.
We
Thank you.
finally broke through. The dam has broken, and I'm just so impressed with how this team has responded with not only the success, but also any kind of adversity, because we were not a good away football team this season. How did you guys feel going into this game? Did you guys have any heightened emotions?
I had some. We had some doubts. I talked to you, Trev, but I was confident. Okay, the only thing
I was very confident.
I was confident, just worried that this team had really fallen flat so many times on the road this season, but there was some extenuating circumstances in every single one of those games. Right? I think that Cincinnati loss, just having Jeff Sims at quarterback, that's all you need to hear. And then with Texas Tech, right, first big road game of the Big 12 era.
Yeah, I think that's a huge segment right here. Just what are the two losses? What is the context behind the two losses that ASU has covered? Because I really think we could confidently say we're a few plays away from being 10-0, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
within the standpoint that we were down 14-0 within the first 7 minutes and 30 seconds of the Texas Tech game, that was a component of losing to the Red Raiders in Lubbock. Cade Briggs missed a stunt. Sam Levitt gets tackled, gets drilled, and throws a very bad interception, and that's what gave them the scoring position. And then I also want to say the component of the Cincinnati game. Not only was Jeff Sims, but it was also our first half play.
Yeah.
Because our second half defense was phenomenal.
Yeah.
We allowed Cincinnati to score none in the
Yep.
second half, and that was one of the biggest things, was that the defense just couldn't get going against Cincinnati.
Now, and it actually ended up being one of the most frustrating things.
And I-
because
It
they
really
were
much
locking
was.
down and we couldn't come back.
And I
Exactly.
think we could also say the same thing for the Texas Tech game as well. We really shut down in that second quarter. So the context behind the two losses this season is pretty simple. It's just a very bad half of football on both of those games. And at least we've really tightened things up. I think we start off hot, just with a lot more authority now. Like within the UCF game, within the Oklahoma State game, Kansas State game, scoring drives in that first quarter. That is huge stuff, guys. So overall, how do you guys feel about our 8-2 record? Do you guys see anything, as a deficiency going into this BYU game? What's your general outlook?
I mean, personally, I've been loving the way ASU's been playing ball lately. Our two losses, are basically one-drive games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was, if drives went one way, the game would be another way. And those are against Cincinnati and Texas Tech. I really thought ASU was going to be able to pull out back-to-back wins in Texas on the road. I thought it was going to be something ASU was definitely going to lock down, and unfortunately they couldn't do it in Lubbock. But ASU's just looked great. I mean, the run game has been there. Jordan Tyson's really been one of the guys that's stepped it up in recent weeks, and I've been loving it. Cam Scadaboo's looked great as well. I mean, this Kansas State game is exactly how I love to see this Brian Ward defense be ran. I mean, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery. Fortunately, Tyson had a fumble of his own, but didn't matter. But
Yeah, and that Tyson fumble kind of
That killed me.
kick-started Kansas State's offense,
Momentum.
unfortunately, but they still held on. Yeah, what were you saying, Trev? Or Kai? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're all good. I was just saying that I feel like this team has really stepped it up on defense, especially in the first half. I mean, we allowed no points at all for Kansas State in the first half. The second half is actually where we kind of lacked in terms of defense, and that was one of the things that kind of surprised me a little bit. But regardless or not, this ASU squad stepped it up. I love the way Brian Ward's been utilizing a lot of his secondaries. I think Yvonne Robinson's starting to get played in the zone a lot more, kind of up the field, and kind of get sent back to that safety slot every once in a while. But I love the way I saw Shamari Simmons and Xavier Alford play, both interceptions of their own. This team has looked phenomenal in the last few weeks. And I love the way ASU's been playing. I love the way that a lot of these guys are starting to step up. Jordan Crook looked great too. He's finally starting to get the playing time he deserves. And I'm excited to see what's in store for ASU. Again, playing BYU this upcoming weekend is going to be exciting, to say the least. I think all of us are going to be on our tippy toes trying to, reach for a possible Big 12 championship game. But overall, ASU's been playing great. I feel like there's not really too many deficiencies when we're heading into that game. And I think ASU just needs to have a consistent offense in order for this team to be considered for a CFP playoff spot.
Yeah, so one thing I'll say about Arizona State this season is since I think the fourth quarter of that Wyoming game, I don't know if Arizona State has had a game first quarter to fourth quarter where they've just been consistently great, right? Maybe the Oklahoma State game is the closest they came, but even in this Kansas game, I mean, if you look at the 11-minute mark in the third quarter, hit the field goal, which I know we were all very happy about.
Yeah, 47
and then
yards too.
Kansas State goes 14 unanswered to end the game. And ultimately, it didn't matter. Arizona State got the win. But I think you can use that as a point of optimism going into BYU, U of A, and potentially Colorado or Iowa State, I guess, just depending on how this goes. If they're able to beat BYU this weekend, you can look at that and say, they haven't played 4 quarters of amazing football outside of 2 games. And that's something that they can improve on, right? This isn't a team that's peaking. This team did not peak against Kansas State this weekend. And I think that's the biggest testament to the team. I think the coaching staff, Marcus Arroyo,
They revealed themselves.
Yeah, even though, sometimes we are critical of his play calling, man, Sam Levitt looks legit. And you can't argue.
Can't say he hasn't developed.
You cannot say that, like, looking at him from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. I have a graphic. Let's pull it up, okay? The growth on third down. Look at the Utah game. That was a game they won. 5 for 13 on third down. And you saw me multiple times during the beginning of the season go on rants about how I was disappointed in what they were.
A little rebuttal, it's like, it's not, it doesn't tell the whole story.
It doesn't.
As long as you win the weighty third downs that are more in the back half of the game.
Agreed.
But now they're winning every third down, right?
Yeah,
9
exactly.
for 15. If they continue to go 9 for 15 on third down, I'm guaranteeing a win in BYU, and I'm guaranteeing a win in the Territorial Cup. We're not going to lose 2 years in a row if we're playing like this, right?
Yeah.
So the growth on third down is something that, Marcus Arroyo needs to be complimented for. He's made Sam Levitt, he looks like, if he progresses at this rate for the rest of his college career, he looks like a potential first rounder in the NFL, right? We've seen guys make jumps in their sophomore year very often, like Milroe, but rarely do we see a guy just progress this much his freshman year. Pro Football Focus.
It's more of the brick and mortar traditional way
Yeah.
of how college football used to be.
Yeah.
You have a young freshman, you develop him.
He stays for all 4 years. Now, is Levitt going to stay for all 4 years? I don't know. Money talks. But he looks really good.
Legit.
I think he's locked in for next year, right?
Agreed.
Oh, no, he has to be. You have to. I mean, I guess he's done 2 years of eligibility.
Yeah. But no. I think regardless, I think he wants to stay.
I think Levitt loves the atmosphere more than anything, and that's one of the things I've been loving about this squad. I mean, Levitt, Cam Scatterbo, you've seen them time and time again love this ASU student section. They just love the school, man. I think they're set.
And how I felt about this ASU Kansas State game was I compared it to our Cincinnati game, but as if we were Cincinnati, right? Like you choke them out like in the first half, and then you play good defense in the second half. You don't let them score and catch up, right?
Yeah,
That's basically what we did. I think the 14 unanswered points was just us playing good defense. Still, Scatterbo was moving the chains in that second half. That's what I really wanted to see. I didn't want us to go 3 and out and just give the ball back. So, good defense, good running in the second half. And what's really funny is 24-14, right? Cincinnati game, same thing, right? Kansas UCF game, both end in 35-31s, right? So we've seen these formulas just play into themselves naturally and how we can win. And you're right, we haven't had a dominant game like the Wyoming game where we blow them out. But I think that was just because that was our debut. That's what we had to do to showcase to everyone in the city that this is going to be an exemplary season.
Yeah.
You just need to buy in with us because we're bought in. And what we've really seen was how college football has naturally revealed this team to the general landscape, and they haven't changed. They've been the same team. That team was the same exact team that was in Wyoming that got the interceptions on Evan Sabota. Like
Remote and legend Evan Sabota, by the way, who's been benched.
That's kind of like the beauty in it. Like all this team is really doing is revealing how good they are when they get the opportunity. And being a 9-point underdog, I loved it. I loved that confidence when we just came out with that aggressiveness first drive. Great, we get in the red zone. You know that our number one target's Jordan Tyson. Let's get JT the ball on a fade out. He dusts his guy and then the first time Kansas State gets the ball, we take the ball away from him. Like that's just good ball right there. And that's what Kenny Dillingham was even saying on his halftime report. He's like, we're just playing good ball. Some of it's bad ball, but generally good ball.
Can we talk about Jordan Tyson? 176 yards, man.
He
has arrived. He's the wide receiver one that we needed him to be.
The development is crucial. JT is now just such an aggressive route runner. He attacks the DB. You know, every time he's going in for a route, he's going to run straight at his defender, and then he's going to break away from him last minute. There was 2 different times where Marcus Sigley, a part of Kansas State, a really good All-American safety, on his knees, on his palms, on the grass, on the turf. He had no idea what was going on. JT dusted 2 nice catches. It was crazy. I was going nuts when he got that toe tap in.
Tyson, he's a route runner. I've been loving this guy the whole year round. Jake Smith. He's not.
I gapped him up. He's got 2 inches.
The other thing with the other thing with Tyson that I'm a fan of is that it's his route running that defines him. He reminds me more of a Devontae Adams-esque type of build. He's not a guy that'll burn you. He's not a guy that gets, burns his DBs. We saw it against Kansas. Kobe Bryant was locked down with him, basically. And, that was one of the biggest things was ASU was able to get things going on the ground game for the ground game for that game. But when it comes to utilizing Tyson and when it comes to utilizing guys like Jake Smith, Melquan Stovall, those are all guys that get reps. But when you're talking about a guy that really can, be dependable and you can rely on in the slot. He can play every wide receiving position.
And JT, I love
JT.
Games.
Exactly.
He has won us games. He won us the Kansas.
He won us Kansas State. He won without
us the Kansas State game.
Yeah.
UCF, you could make an argument he won us the UCF game as well.
That's fair. I can agree with that. And that was the other thing too with Tyson is
even
that
the
I'm a fan
Texas State game. He had a huge touchdown that brought us back from
the 74-yarder. Yeah.
And he started it all. So if you're just already attributing half of our season to this wide receiver one, he's legit.
And that's the other thing too. Tyson's pushing that 1,000-yard mark. I think he's been a guy too that's been dependable in every spot. I think too another thing was that a lot of people were kind of bashing ASU for is that we can't hit guys across the middle of the field. Tyson's proved that wrong in the last 2 weeks. Tyson has been that guy that's been slowly moving up the chains.
I felt like our middle of the field passing was actually one of the strengths of the offense in the early goings of the season. I felt like Levitt was consistently on time, and that was one of my biggest reasons for hope is if you can hit on time, middle of the field passings, that's not coaching, that's good quarterback. Yep. Deep balls is all about the quarterback's accuracy, but that's the coach scheming it up. And then, but he'll get there. He's still a freshman. And then the short passing is also coaching. So middle of the field passing is where quarterbacks make their money, right? And I felt like Levitt's been pretty good at it all year, but as you're saying, it's gotten much better. And honestly, Jordan Tyson getting locked down by Kobe, Kansas has the best. They have the two of the best DBs in the country. And also, can we say thank you to Melo for getting that interception in the end zone against BYU? Man, he's single-handedly helped Arizona State.
And I was saying that Rock Chalk Jayhawk the last 3 weeks. I knew they would beat Iowa State, and I knew they would beat BYU.
Kansas is just way better than their record, man.
Oh, they're so much better. It's really sad.
The top dogs were not as good as their record.
Huh?
The top dogs.
BYU.
BYU and Colorado.
Yeah.
Iowa State.
Oh, Iowa State, not Colorado. Yeah.
Iowa State's defense is pretty damn good. That's what I give Iowa.
Yeah.
Their defensive squad, that front seven in Iowa is definitely aggressive, and that's why they stay ranked. They have, and a lot of that has to attribute to the offense. I mean, they can't really get too many things going in the air right now, and it's kind of been one of the reasons why Iowa's kind of
they
on
could
that
use
decline.
Purdy.
They can use Purdy. They could use Purdy.
They could use Purdy right now.
You live on Brock Purdy way.
Yeah.
But
That's just right down the road from where my mom lives.
Not if you keep receipts like Gino did on Sunday.
Hey,
Oh,
there
boy.
we go.
Hey,
Dude,
Gino was going
let's
nuts
go,
against
Gino.
that. But yeah,
Big Seahawks fan.
The beauty in this weekend, though, I really think that the BYU identity is very similar to the ASU identity.
they're frauds, is what they
that's
are.
That's not Arizona State's
Which
identity.
is not what ASU's identity is, but it's BYU's identity. They're frauds.
I
Do you think so?
mean, they're still a good team.
They are frauds.
Like, if you get behind on BYU, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
BYU.
You have to. Get ahead.
BYU, good defense, good quarterback play, but not, one of the weaker running games in the Big 12, certainly.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think ASU is going to
They-
try to utilize.
I
They're
think
really going to try to target that.
The beauty in it is this: if you're playing BYU and they're in deficit, they're playing from behind, you're gonna play a different Cougars team. But if you're playing BYU and you're behind, that's when things get scary. They pin their ears back. They do move the chains on the running game. They're gonna get ahead of schedule if we give them the opportunity to. But like the beauty in ASU right now, we are 5-0 in the Big 12 at home, 5-0 on the season actually, and we continue our undefeated streak.
Knock on wood.
On Saturday.
Yeah, and they're ranked 21, man.
The only
ranked.
team in the Big 12 that is undefeated at home.
Yeah.
Goes
And,
a long way.
Yeah,
The home
for
field
sure.
advantage is insane.
and
really
I mean,
is.
ASU student section transcends sports too. I mean, the ASU distraction curtain made the 1,000th missed free throw line the other night during ASU men's basketball. That was pretty cool.
There we go.
And, this ASU student section, time and time again, is shown out. They already sold out for the BYU game.
They sold out in like 3 hours.
Literally within 3 hours. I think I was probably one of the last people to get a ticket. And, we heard Kenny say it. Kenny said, hey, make sure if you're, trading your ticket, transferring, giving it to someone, make sure it goes to an ASU fan. Make sure that they show you an ASU hat, like a diploma if they're an alumni. Like, do something to give it to an ASU fan.
Yeah, no BYU. We don't want the Mormons showing up to Tempe.
And that's
I am
definitely.
Mormon. Don't worry.
And that's one of the things that I think a lot of ASU kids are going to be kind of thankful for, is to see all of the ASU members show out. And it's the first time we've sold out a game since I believe UCLA and of last year was the last time we sold out a game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting. ASU with 2 games left in this stretch. I think it's going to be a fun one. They want
Is
they
that
want to
really?
win it at
That's
home.
not the last time we sold out Kansas and Utah.
Kansas, not the whole crowd. We didn't sell
not
out the
the
whole
whole
crowd.
Oh,
We sold
okay.
out the student section, but like in terms
Okay.
of the entire crowd,
That was lame because then we didn't even get the like primetime TV spot either.
yeah.
That was
Guys,
so
do we
stupid.
deserve game day though for the BYU game?
Oh,
I'm curious real quick
Dude,
about that.
Hey, game day needs to keep that energy, man. Are we
Come here, Pat.
Are we a mistake still? No, not Pat. Pat believed in us.
Oh, that is true.
Pat was the only
a
guy who
believer.
picked
He
us.
was a believer.
He was like, oh, I don't know, guys. Yeah, no, that was some stupid. That was stupid, dude. That pissed me off.
Why
I
did
think
that
I texted. Did I text you about it, Trevor? I think I was spamming a couple people. I was
You
pissed.
texted me about it too.
I was like, dude.
You sent me the article that got posted on Instagram. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's stupid, man.
That was so annoying. That just pisses me off, dude. The Big Ten and SEC bias, out of this world. Out of this world. Indiana's not that good.
The glaze
How many
is
good wins
crazy.
does Indiana have this year? Oh, they beat
Talk
Michigan.
about
Who-
Penn State.
Yeah, same with Penn State.
Have
Kai?
the real conversation.
I mean, come on,
is Penn
okay?
State-
Stop it.
Is Penn State beating Ole Miss, Tennessee, Georgia,
Yes.
Alabama,
Yes.
A&M,
He's
Yes.
biased. He's
Yes.
biased.
Texas.
He's biased.
Nick Singleton will run all over your poverty franchise. I don't want to hear it, guys.
You mean Katron Allen?
No, Nick Singleton, bud. Nick Singleton is the
Katron
future.
Allen.
And Jake Ferguson, talk about a better tight end in the league. You can't.
Jake Ferguson?
Without a doubt. And Luke Jackson, are you kidding me? That's the best 1-2 tight end duo in the league.
Jake Ferguson?
Jake
Yes!
Ferguson? You mean like,
I'm taking Pat Fryermuth over Jake Ferguson.
dude? Oh my
I'm talking.
gosh, you
No,
guys are
I'm talking about for
ridiculous.
Penn State, dude.
You guys
Not
are ridiculous.
Collegiate, not like NFL.
You know, that comment right there makes me hate
Guys,
talking
Penn
football
State
with you, Trev.
is so terrible. All right.
Okay.
Penn State is so
Penn
terrible.
State's produced some of the best players of all time.
Of all time,
Yes.
Trace McSorley, you mean? Is that who you're talking about?
He holds all the records for Penn State,
Guys,
which is kind of sad.
The point
but it's
is
funny.
this: Penn State is not beating these SEC opponents
Yes, they are.
in an SEC crowd, and then anything like an SEC team would go up to Penn State and they would win.
You're gonna go through one of these windows, Trev.
No, there's not.
They open, dude.
Exactly.
Listen, the CFP has completely catered the Big Ten to the top 12 rankings. Right now, what we're going to see in the first round is an Indiana home game, a Penn State home game, an Ohio State Oregon home game because Ohio State's going to win. Still, the point is we're going to be seeing these SEC schools go to these Big Ten schools, and they're just going to pop them in the mouth.
You know, I disagree.
They're going to win in those Big Ten crowds, and it's going to be like, sorry, you guys were phonies, and then we're going to have to be forced to watch all these New Year's Six bowls, which is SEC matchups that already happened.
Personally, I think Ohio State's going to lose to Indiana.
No.
Yeah.
No, buddy.
It's my biggest upset of the year.
Arizona,
it's my biggest upset of the year.
And it has just dropped 30 degrees because that was a freezing cold take, buddy.
No,
freezing
serious.
cold.
I seriously believe Indiana is going to beat Ohio. I'm a believer in this Indiana State defense.
You don't know the quarterback of Indiana.
I'm aware. No.
Seriously believe you don't know the wide receiver one of Indiana.
And I confidently don't, and I can agree with that. I will say that. But I know this
So
Indiana defense.
Buddy's just yapping
this
here.
Indiana defense, dude, is one of the best in the league.
That is why they will
In the
not
league,
cover two
in the country, you
possessions.
mean?
In the country, sorry. But that's why I think Indiana is going to beat.
All right.
Ohio.
Well, this is
we're getting off topic.
we're getting
guys.
off topic. Let's just
Beauty of this is
Penn State's the
Desmond
best
Howard,
Big Ten team, and that's all you gotta
you
know.
put tape on the media. Just as players put tape on the field, you callers, you media people put tape on ESPN. It was an unprofessional look to talk and belittle our football school and our year.
The glaze is crazy, guys.
Ridiculous to devalue a great, significant Big 12 matchup. You like to say it's the most transformative year of college football, but you want to devalue any sort of transformation going on under the heads of the SEC and the Big Ten. It's bias, it's recency bias, and it's also unprofessionalism because now we are going to represent our conference come December. Yes, we're playing the best football in November, and to think that this isn't a significant matchup is just phony to me.
Pittsburgh.
So Desmond Howard, I'm so glad you're from Michigan because you're just a player from up north. No one cares about the opinion like that unless you were an actual guy.
And breaking news: Pittsburgh Pirate legend Jacob Stallings signs with the Rockies.
wow.
I don't know who that is.
And
but
nobody cares. And that will pretty much wrap up this video.
we're gonna clip that. We're gonna clip that. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, guys, Cam Scadaboo did not have a great day, but are we going to expect a great day on
Oh, he's
Saturday?
coming off an injury.
Whoa. He had over 100 all-purpose yards. What are we talking? I get yards per carry were not great, but he had over 100 all-purpose yards.
He was working with the pass game. What was it? 35 plus passing yards.
44 yards.
44. Yeah.
And this is a great point because we are going to be doing a Cam Scadaboo film study. I just got all 22 for Melquan Stovall and Cam Scadaboo. It's just for the Utah game, so
There we go, but it's something.
All 22 is really good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, guys, I mean, I feel like that might be doing it for us. I think that, ASU has a bright future ahead. So it's going to be a fun one, guys.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, forks up and take a look out for that BYU video we'll have coming out soon. Okay, thank you guys.
Have a good one.